Alright, so this is my roommate Ben here, and we're just going to discuss concealed carry laws and certain gun rights. Um, so, Ben, just as an overview, what would you say, like, your overarching themes, like, your opinions about gun rights would be?
I think that people should be able to carry guns and concealed carry, and I think that people should be able to buy guns if they want to.
So, what you're saying is that you're definitely for people being able to carry the guns. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, what is your main reason for being such an advocate towards people being able to carry these guns?
I think that by people being able to carry these guns, it can really help them be more safe or help the safety of people around them.
So really, like, what you're saying is your main concern is safety, and that's sort of why you're so for people being able to have
Yeah.
guns. Is that correct?
Yeah, put guns in the right people's hands, and I think that can help
Sure.
society.
And as far as society goes, what is it about people being able to carry guns that makes you feel safer?
Well, I think that regardless of whether or not people are allowed to carry guns, people who want to hurt someone are going to be able to get their hands on a gun. And I think that people who go through the right channels should be able to have guns as well to protect to protect themselves and other people around them.
Sure. So, really, kind of what you're saying is that, if people are gonna hurt someone, they're gonna find any means to do it that's not actually the gun. Like you're saying, if they're gonna get a gun if they want, like
Yeah, there's ways to get guns like that are illegal right now, and but people still do it. If you're gonna go murder someone, you're not gonna worry about having a gun illegally. Like that's probably not your concern at that point.
sure, sure. And so, if a common phrase that people often say is that, you know, guns don't kill people, people kill people. How would you respond?
I mean, I would agree. Yeah, a gun can do the damage, and uh, without it, people are still gonna be able to kill people without guns as well. Like,
Sure.
uh, but I think it definitely takes a person to pull the trigger.
Gotcha. So, earlier you kind of said that it's important to put guns in the right hands, and so, like, what do you mean by that? Do you mean that there are certain people that should be able to carry a gun and certain people that shouldn't?
Yeah, well, I know like people who have like felonies and stuff, like they can't buy guns, stuff like that. To be able to have concealed carry, you have to take certain classes, and I think that's good. And they always do background checks for people buying guns, so that's good. And so they're trying, like, doing the best that they can to try to put it in the right hands.
Sure. And as far as background checks, do you have any knowledge about, like, how extensive they are? Or?
Not really. I just know that they do them
Sure.
and are supposed to do them.
And so, in this background check, before you said people that have felonies, are there some felonies that you would say would be admissible for them to, you know, overlook the felony and for them to be able, such as, maybe like a statutory rape case?
Um, I think that yeah, you can maybe overlook some, but at the same time, I wouldn't say that you shouldn't like they're not. You're gonna have to just say either if you have a felony you can't get them or you can, and I'm kind of on the side that you should be able to get them if you have a felony, and that's how it is.
Sure. So, sort of what you're saying is it's kind of an all or nothing thing.
Yeah.
Sort
Even
of.
though like just like maybe in the statutory rape case, like maybe you should be able to get a gun, but you're not gonna be allowed to.
Sure. And with the idea of felonies, would you think that, and this is also kind of tying into the idea of putting the guns in the right hands, is there a certain time limit? So maybe someone committed a felony when they were 18 and now they want to get a gun at 50. How do you feel about that?
Um, I think that maybe you should be able to do that, depending on the extent of the felony.
Mm-hmm. So, so before it was before it was like if you committed a felony, and let me know if I'm understanding this right. Any felony, you wouldn't be able to get a gun, but you're saying maybe there's some certain time limit
Yeah,
that
I
people
think
have to wait.
there could be something like that. Could be alright.
Sure. And so I guess I want to go back to the idea of maybe if there's a certain time limit, are there certain felonies that you think people shouldn't be able to carry no matter how long it is?
I mean, yeah. If you use a gun in like for violence, like you should ever be able to carry a gun, for example, stuff like that. I think mostly if your felony involves hurting someone, probably not a good idea to give you a gun.
Mhm.
Along those lines, I would say.
And I guess I just kind of want to go back to something we were talking about in the beginning of the interview, and that's with a background check. Are there certain situations where you feel people abuse their right to use a gun and claim that it's safety?
Yeah, I think that you could say that, and I mean, they try to do laws like that to pass, like about, like if you enter someone's house, like in some states you can shoot them, some you can't, stuff like that. I know there was that Trayvon Martin case recently that kind of was pretty messed up there, where maybe he shouldn't have used his gun there in that case, but he did anyways,
Sure.
and got away with it.
Sure. So, kind of what you're saying is that it's situational, or that some situations are more intuitive that you shouldn't have to use a gun
Yeah.
for.
Uh, it's hard. I mean, that's a big argument now. Like, it's hard to draw a line there,
Sure.
and different people think different things about it.
So, I guess one last question I would just want to ask is that are there situations where you think that being able to use a gun in the case of safety has been like habitually abused?
Um, I'm not really sure what you mean by that.
Sure. Like, I guess I'm just saying, like, do you think that, you know, people often over exaggerate their idea of what the danger, that people often over assess the danger, or do you think that people that have these guns probably have a good gauge of when they should be able to use
I
it?
think for the most part, people know when they need to use it and when they don't need to use it.
Sure. So, yeah, I guess overall what you're saying is, you know, kind of that there's, people that commit felonies probably shouldn't be able to have guns unless there's a certain, with,
Yeah.
certain time limits, then they might be able to, and, that people that have guns probably, you know, are have a good gauge of when they should be using
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Gotcha. Well, hey, I appreciate you
Yeah.
sitting down with me, Ben.
No problem.